Welcome. Thanks for tuning into the severe weather update for storms expected tomorrow. The Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe storms for eastern Minnesota, which stretches into western Wisconsin. I'll take a deeper dive into the setup for tomorrow to show you what can be expected. The reason for the possibility of severe storms tomorrow is that a cold front with an associated low pressure area will move across Minnesota and into Wisconsin during the day on Tuesday. Showers and thunderstorms are expected to develop and push east along the front. This is an upper air sounding which looks at the temperature and dew point as you go up in height in the atmosphere, sort of a snapshot, if you will, of a column of air. On the left is a profile from the Twin Cities, and on the right is from Brainerd. One of the issues I have for the severe weather setup as I looked at these soundings was that there was a temperature inversion in place across southern Minnesota at the Twin Cities location, which results in a capping situation. This feature is far less pronounced in the Brainerd area. What this means is that storms will have an easier time getting going across northern Minnesota. This is a visual illustration of the cap between two different American computer models, the NAM on the left and the HRRR on the right. The reds and purples show where the cap is the strongest, and the greens and grays indicate where the weaker cap is. And as you can see, northern Minnesota definitely has the weaker cap situation, so that's where storms will most likely initiate. And because we have the weaker cap in northern Minnesota, this may allow for some beneficial rains to fall across northeastern Minnesota in the Arrowhead. Some places could pick up more than an inch of rain. This is where the blues and purples show on this map where that's possible. Now here's a visual of what the radar could look like on Tuesday afternoon around 2 p.m. The HRRR model is shown on the left and the NAM model is on the right. Both models seem to indicate storm activity to occur around 2 p.m. across the northern half of the state where conditions are most favorable. Now here's what the storm setup has going for and against it. There is plenty of CAPE or the available potential energy for storms to work with across the entire state. Wind shear is also ample with 30 to 45 knots across the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Lap rates, which show how quickly the temperature decreases with height, is also quite favorable for severe storm development. The weaker cap across northern Minnesota makes the setup more likely to produce for severe thunderstorms. And looking at some of the features that are working against this setup, as with this time of the year, daylight is shorter, which creates a smaller window for daytime heating. So storm activity will be very dependent on how quickly the cap can erode before sundown. The stronger cap will mostly prevent any storms from becoming severe across southern Minnesota, including the Twin Cities area, but an isolated strong storm can't be ruled out. The main storm threats will be large hail due to the steep lapse rates and the straight line winds, as storms will tend to grow into a linear segment as time goes on. The tornado threat is low with this particular setup, but you can't really rule out an isolated tornado right around the storm initiation, as you'll have discrete cells before they form into linear segments. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning into this weather segment. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.